When I walked down that aisle, I truly believed I'd found someone who would stand beside me through every storm life could throw our way. Our life together wasn't extravagant, simple, quiet, but built on what I thought were solid foundations: trust, love, and loyalty. For years, I poured everything I had into that belief. Every sacrifice I made felt like an investment in our shared future. She often told me she was proud of me, and I clung to those words like they meant safety. I never imagined they'd one day feel empty. Then, small things started to change. Her nights outgrew longer, wrapped in excuses about seeing friends. The phone that used to lie carelessly around suddenly became guarded, hidden. At night, she felt distant, colder, untouchable in ways that left me uneasy. I brushed it off at first, telling myself not to let suspicion rot what we built. I didn't want to be the one who poisoned us. But the unease kept growing, heavy and constant. One evening, she came home acting strange, distracted yet overly affectionate, like someone trying too hard to cover something up. When I asked about her day, her answers came in broken pieces. I didn't push. I just observed, quietly listening to my instincts. Those instincts, the same ones that had guided me before, whispered that something was deeply wrong. The truth struck harder than I could have imagined. A friend, meaning well, revealed that she wasn't seeing just one man. There were several. Each new detail felt like a blade twisting in my chest. The woman I'd built my world around was scattering her heart among strangers. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I watched, waiting, seeing how far deception would go. Then, one day, she told me she was pregnant. The words should have brought joy, but all they sparked was dread. Every memory of late-night whispers and hidden texts flooded back. When she looked at me with practiced certainty and said, "This is your baby," it didn't sound like love. It sounded like a trap. Her confidence, almost smug, only solidified what I already felt. I refused to be bound by lies, to raise another man's child under a false promise. I stayed calm. No shouting, no scenes. Just quiet resolve. I began gathering proof: call logs, screenshots, messages, testimonies. Each piece was a small confirmation that my intuition hadn't lied. And with every painful discovery, clarity began to form. The fog of betrayal started to lift, revealing a path I could finally see. When I confronted her, I did it without anger. I laid out everything, every message, every record, across the table. I watched the color drain from her face, her hands trembling as excuses stumbled out, thin and desperate. She broke down, confessed the affairs, yet still insisted the child was mine. But her words had lost all meaning by then. I'd seen too much. I knew the rhythm of her deceit, the rehearsed tears, the hollow apologies. I told her calmly that I couldn't raise a child born of betrayal, that the marriage was over. No yelling, no drama, just a quiet ending to something I had once fought to save. Watching her realize that her manipulation had failed, that her trap had become her downfall, was the only justice I needed. I filed for divorce, submitting every piece of evidence I had gathered. Before family, friends, and in court, the image she had so carefully constructed crumbled. Those who once admired her now looked on with disappointment and disbelief. The pregnancy she thought would secure control over me became the very thing that exposed her deceit. What she intended as a chain turned into my liberation. I didn't walk away with rage or triumph, only with dignity. I didn't seek revenge in spectacle or cruelty. My idea of revenge was letting truth speak where I no longer could trust her to. By refusing to be manipulated and standing firm in accountability, I let her actions condemn themselves. That quiet reckoning, not anger, was justice. Life after the divorce wasn't easy. Healing never is. There were nights hollowed out by loneliness, mornings when silence felt unbearable yet necessary. Slowly, I began to rebuild, piece by piece, learning to trust what still remained unbroken inside me. The wound she left became part of my story, a scar that reminded me of what had been shattered, but also of what survived. Her betrayal taught me something I wish I hadn't had to learn, that once trust is fractured, it rarely returns to its old shape. I refused to live swallowing lies just to maintain appearances. I chose the harder road, one that led me out of wreckage and toward truth. In the end, the trap she built for me became her own undoing and my freedom. I moved forward with the ache still inside me, but also with a stronger, clearer sense of who I was and what I would never allow again.